state. In order for us to do so, we do need people who are well-versed in the various disciplines that can come into the state and perform the work that needs to be performed in the interests of South Africans. Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Hadebe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. President, the IFP supports and appreciates the initiative of the graduate recruitment scheme, as we have always pushed for unemployed graduates to be absorbed into government employments. Considering this, Honourable President, how will the government ensure that the placement of graduates under the graduate recruitment scheme is sustained beyond initial phase, ensuring long-term career growth and contribution to the public sector? Thank you.
The Honourable President.
Clearly, having brought these young people, the graduates, into the state, we do hope that they will be able to display their own capability and knowledge and to demonstrate how well-versed they are in the disciplines that they will have been recruited into, and that they will be able to demonstrate that they can serve our people very well. I speak about this out of great encouragement and hope, particularly in relation to what we saw during COVID. During COVID, we brought some 800,000 young people into our various schools as teacher assistants, and many of them had come either out of university or colleges, and they came at a time of peril in our country. And I applaud them because they showed a great deal of bravery to go and work in our schools, which at the time many people were, petrified about, particularly as we opened schools at the height of COVID. And just that mere opening of schools has served us so well, because our young people have continued to move ahead on their educational journey. But the defining thing that happened during that period is how many of these young people got into our schools and started demonstrating their capabilities as teacher assistants. Many of them were brought in just for menial jobs, such as helping with either masks distribution or either disinfectants, handlers, and ensuring that the children are safe. But in no time, they were able to perform higher level jobs of being teacher assistants, helping with the IT processes in the schools, also helping with the delivery of some aspects of the curriculum. And it showed us, much as they were just there for a year or just, for a slightly extended period, that it is a wise thing to do to bring graduates and young people into the public service. And we got a foretaste of what it can mean when you bring a new cohort, a younger cohort of younger people, or graduated people into the public service, because it rejuvenates the work that we do in government. Many of the school, either principals or teachers, were so pleased that we had initiated this teacher assistant process. And they were very sad, often very sad to see them go, because these were job opportunities, as we didn't have the ongoing finance to support them. So this recruitment process can be made more sustainable as the young people themselves distinguish themselves with their own capability, and as spaces open up, and as the older workers retire, we are then able to infill with the younger people who are more qualified in various disciplines. And that is why we've identified these disciplines. Some disciplines that were hitherto not even there in government service. We're now creating them, and the Public Service Department is opening all those opportunities. I see this as the most exciting type of work that we are doing in government at this point in time. Thank you, Honorable Hadeb.
The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Maseko.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Mr. President, the graduate recruitment scheme is a promising start, but reality is it needs to fit into wider strategy for transforming our education and innovation system. It means absolutely nothing for young people to graduate without ability to fairly compete for opportunities to put food on the table for themselves and their families. Now, with 80,000 plus graduate certificates that have yet to be issued, some since 2012, how will these graduates be assisted in a fair, transparent manner while promoting diversity and preventing political interference in order for them to benefit from this scheme?
The Honourable President.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, the mere fact that this program's requirements are opening it up for competition on a fair and transparent basis, in my view, begins to remove the temptation of political intervention or interference, because it needs to be done openly and transparently. Now, the 800,000 or so young people that we brought in was on the basis of precisely this. It was open, and young people presented themselves, and then the best were then selected. I have not heard of any problem about political interference in that. The issue of certificates is a matter that I know is being addressed. It's a matter that has concerned me for the longest time, that why does it take so long after young people have graduated for them to get their certificates? And I'm told that the backlog is now being addressed. It is something that should never really have happened as it is, but it was in the end meant to ensure that the qualifications that people get and the certificates have a sense of integrity as well, but that is being addressed. And of course, we want young people or graduates to be able to get jobs or positions that are sustainable, where they will be able to earn a living and, yes, be able to put food on their families' tables. So that is one of the issues that we continue to balance. And it also has to do with the financial resources that the state has. And in the end, when, for instance, the budget is presented, we should be able to hear precisely the initiatives that we are going to take to ensure that, yes, we open up more opportunities, but those opportunities have to be in accordance with the financial resources that we can muster, because the need is huge, but in the end, our own capabilities are constrained by the lack of massive financial resources. But it is a process that we are addressing and carrying on with a great effect. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Mkitama. Honourable Mkitama, please proceed.
Speaker, I'll be taking the question. Honourable Msezan.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ramaphosa, youth unemployment, by the way, the youth, there is a majority in this country, remains a key issue currently in our country. But let me first deal with your responses or utterances that you just made in your responses. You mentioned teacher assistants. Mr. Ramaphosa, when there were these great numbers you are referring to with regards to teacher assistants, they ended up teaching in classrooms because of the workload in those very classrooms, as a result of the thousands of unemployed graduates in the teaching sector. Secondly, yesterday I was in KZN, where above 200 unemployed doctors that are graduates were marching to the legislature in KZN currently. And in your response, you also mentioned the healthcare professional. I just want to point that to your attention first before I deal with my question. Could you
Honourable Member, your
provide
time has
specific
now
timelines
officially
for its
expired, but
implementation?
I will allow you a few seconds more. The standard is 16 seconds. You have now 3 seconds left. Thank you.
Could you provide specific timelines for its implementation, the key milestones that the government aims to achieve? Additionally, what mechanisms are in place to ensure accountability in the recruitment, placement, and long-term development of graduates within the
Your
government
time
and
has now
state-owned
expired,
enterprises?
Honourable Member. Honourable President.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. The time frames are in line with the program of recruitment that the Department of Public and the safeguards with regard to accountability and transparency are embedded in the program itself. And where there are areas of weakness, we would obviously welcome hearing what those areas are. And for instance, where there might be political interference, we would want to hear that because that should never be allowed. Young people or those who might be recruited into this program must know and have the confidence that they will be chosen on merit, they will be able to be competitively selected so that they can get into these types of programs. Yes, we know that there's a problem throughout the country of doctors who are qualified, who continue to raise their own plight and their own situation. This is a matter that we are addressing, and it is based also on the resources that government has. And as our resources improve, it is our clear intention that those young people that we have been able to educate as a nation should be able to get jobs, should be able to get an opportunity to serve the nation. That is something that we are working on. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Ghana.
Mr. President, we have two connected problems. On one hand, government is not able to attract the brightest young minds from our tertiary institutions. And on another, we have government that's arbitrarily closing opportunities for those over the age of 35. Since your election, what have you done to make government an employer of choice for the brightest young graduates and opening opportunities for South Africans over the age of 35 to work in the public service?
The Honourable President.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. There are a number of initiatives that we have embarked upon to ensure that as many South Africans who are able to contribute to the work of government do come in. And in this regard, we do lay emphasis on, yes, bringing in young people to various key positions where they can make meaningful contributions in relation to the education or the skills that they have acquired. And that is why I said we are concerned about those who have become qualified in various disciplines and cannot find work. Wherever one goes, be it either in the streets of our country, in door-to-door processes, parents always say, this country has been good in educating our young people, but they do not have jobs. And that is a reality that we are having to deal with. And we therefore are creating a number of opportunities. And this one is one of those. And we will be able to point to many more young people coming into government service as we ensure that this program does spread. And Honorable Speaker is one of those who to me looks very young and has been given this opportunity to be here as well. So we want more of his ilk to come also to Parliament. But at the same time, we cannot forego or neglect the unemployment status of those who are above 35. So therefore, all efforts are being made by government to also open opportunities for those who are above 35. Because there can be a tendency to focus on the young, 18 to 34, and ignore those who are 35 and above. And so we also say that we're opening up as many opportunities as possible, even for those who are above 35. So our approach is comprehensive processes of recruitment, and we, through the recruitment of graduates, are not just limiting to the much younger ones, we're also broadening it. And we have found that in the applications that come through, we do have a number of people who are above 35. So it is all encompassing, and we want it to be all beneficial to everyone who seeks to be employed. And also to bring the brightest, the most able to come and serve the people of South Africa. That is our focus, and it is something that we seek to achieve. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Honourable members, that concludes the questions to the President. I thank the Honourable President. Honourable members, I request members to stand and wait for the presiding officer and the mace to leave the chamber. That concludes the business for the day, and the House is adjourned.